ሰላም ጤና ይስጥልኝ ውድና የተከበራችሁ የሃይሌ መልቲ ሚዲያ ቤተሰቦች እንደምን አላችሁ? ዛሬ እንግዲህ የሌቭል 4 COC እንዲሁም ደግሞ አንዳንዴም አልፎ ሌቭል 3 ላይ የሚመጡ ጥያቄዎችን አካትቼ ከተገኙበት አካባቢ ሰብስበን ከኢንተርኔትም ከነዚሁ ከሰውም ያገኘናቸውን አንድ ላይ ሰብሰብ አድርገን ለዛሬ ከ40 በላይ ጥያቄዎችን ይዤላችሁ ቀርቤያለሁ ማለት ነው። ተከታተሏቸው ዘንድ በዚህ በአኒሜሽን ድምጽ እናንተም ያደመጣችሁ እንዲሁም ደግሞ መልሱን ያያችሁ መልሱንም ለራሳችሁ እንድትሞክሩ እንድትከታተሉ እኔም እንድታበረታቱኝ በክብር ጠይቃለሁ ማለት ነው። ይህ ሃይሊ መልቲሚዲያ ማለት ነው። እንግዲህ ሞጁሉ ኩዊዝ ኔትወርኪንግ ኩዌስችኖች ናቸው ማለት ነው። ለዛሬ የምንመልሳቸው ጥያቄዎቹ እንግዲህ የመጀመሪያው ጥያቄ እንደምትመለከቱት አብዛኛው ጊዜ COC ላይ ከተጠየቁት አብዛኛው ጥያቄዎች አንዱ technician discovered that software that was installed on a computer was secretly collecting data about websites that were visited by users of the computer which types threat is affecting this computer ማለት ነው። ኮምፒውተራችን ላይ ተጭኖ ሊጎዳ ኮምፒውተር ዳታችን ኮሌክት አድርጎ እንደገና እንዲህ አንድ ቴክኒሻል እንግዲህ ባደረገው መደበኛ ፍተሻ ማለት ነው። ኮምፒውተራችሁ ላይ አንድ ቴክኒሻል መደበኛ ፍተሻውን በኮምፒውተር ላይ የተጫኑ ሶፍትዌሮችን በኮምፒውተር ላይ ተጠቃሚዎችን ስለሚጎበኙት ማለት ነው ድረገጽ ዌብሳይት ማለት ነው ድረገጾችን በሚስጥር መረጃ እየሰበሰበ መሆኑን ደርሶበታል። ስለዚህ በዚህ ኮምፒውተር ላይ ምን አይነት ስጋት ያጋጠመው ይመስላችኋል ነው ጥያቄው ዋናው።
Module quiz. Networking today. Answers. 1. During a routine inspection, a technician discovered that software that was installed on a computer was secretly collecting data about websites that were visited by users of the computer. Which type of threat is affecting this computer? DOS attack, identity theft, spyware, zero-day attack. Explanation. Spyware is software that is installed on a network device and that collects information. 2. How does BYOD change the way in which businesses implement networks? BYOD requires organizations to purchase laptops rather than desktops. BYOD users are responsible for their own network security, thus reducing the need for organizational security policies. BYOD devices are more expensive than devices that are purchased by an organization. BYOD provides flexibility in where and how users can access network resources. Explanation. A BYOD environment requires an organization to accommodate a variety of devices and access methods. Personal devices, which are not under company control, may be involved, so security is critical. On-site hardware costs will be reduced, allowing a business to focus on delivering collaboration tools and other software to BYOD users. 3. An employee wants to access the network of the organization remotely, in the safest possible way. What network feature would allow an employee to gain secure remote access to a company network? ACL, IPS, VPN, BYOD. Explanation. Virtual private networks, VPN, are used to provide secure access to remote workers. 4. What is the Internet? It is a network based on Ethernet technology. It provides network access for mobile devices. It provides connections through interconnected global networks. It is a private network for an organization with LAN and WAN connections. Explanation. The Internet provides global connections that enable networked devices, workstations and mobile devices, with different network technologies, such as Ethernet, DSL, cable, and serial connections, to communicate. A private network for an organization with LAN and WAN connections is an intranet. 5. In which scenario would the use of a WISP be recommended? An internet cafe in a city. A farm in a rural area without wired broadband access. Any home with multiple wireless devices. An apartment in a building with cable access to the internet. Explanation. Wireless Internet Service Providers, WISPs, are typically found in rural areas where DSL or cable access is not available. A dish or antenna on the property of the subscriber connects wirelessly to a WISP transmitter, eliminating the need for physical cabling outside the building. 6. What characteristic of a network enables it to quickly grow to support new users and applications without impacting the performance of the service being delivered to existing users? Reliability, scalability, quality of service, accessibility. Explanation. Networks must be able to quickly grow to support new users and services, without impacting existing users and services. This ability to grow is known as scalability. 7. A college is building a new dormitory on its campus. Workers are digging in the ground to install a new water pipe for the dormitory. A worker accidentally damages a fiber optic cable that connects two of the existing dormitories to the campus data center. Although the cable has been cut, students in the dormitories only experience a very short interruption of network services. What characteristic of the network is shown here? Quality of service, COS. Scalability, security, fault tolerance, integrity. Explanation. Fault tolerance is the characteristic of a network which allows it to quickly respond to failures of network devices, media, or services. Quality of service refers to the measures taken to ensure that network traffic requiring higher throughput receives the required network resources. Scalability refers to the ability of the network to grow to accommodate new requirements. Security refers to protecting networks and data from theft, alteration, or destruction. Integrity refers to the completeness of something and is generally not used as a characteristic of networks in the same way as the other terms. 8. What are two characteristics of a scalable network? Choose 2. Easily overloaded with increased traffic. Grows in size without impacting existing users. Is not as reliable as a small network. Suitable for modular devices that allow for expansion. Offers limited number of applications. Explanation. Scalable networks are networks that can grow without requiring costly replacement of existing network devices. One way to make a network scalable is to buy networking devices that are modular. 9. Which device performs the function of determining the path that messages should take through internetworks? A router, a firewall, a web server, a DSL modem. Explanation. A router is used to determine the path that the messages should take through the network. A firewall is used to filter incoming and outgoing traffic. A DSL modem is used to provide internet connection for a home or an organization. 10. Which two internet connection options do not require that physical cables be run to the building? Choose 2. DSL, cellular, satellite, dial-up, dedicated leased line. Explanation. Cellular connectivity requires the use of the cell phone network. Satellite connectivity is often used where physical cabling is not available outside the home or business. 11. What type of network must a home user access in order to do online shopping? An intranet, the internet, an extranet, a local area network. Explanation. Home users will go online shopping over the internet because online vendors are accessed through the internet. An intranet is basically a local area network for internal use only. An extranet is a network for external partners to access certain resources inside an organization. A home user does not necessarily need a LAN to access the internet. For example, a PC connects directly to the ISP through a modem. 12. Which term refers to a network that provides secure access to the corporate offices by suppliers, customers and collaborators? Internet, intranet, extranet, extended net. Explanation. The term Internet refers to the worldwide collection of connected networks. Intranet refers to a private connection of LANs and WANs that belong to an organization and is designed to be accessible to the members of the organization, employees, or others with authorization. Extranets provide secure and safe access to suppliers, customers, and collaborators. Extended net is not a type of network. 13. A large corporation has modified its network to allow users to access network resources from their personal laptops and smartphones. Which networking trend does this describe? Cloud computing, online collaboration, bring your own device, video conferencing. Explanation. BYOD allows end users to use personal tools to access the corporate network. Allowing this trend can have major impacts on a network, such as security and compatibility with corporate software and devices. 14. An employee wants to access the network of the organization remotely, in the safest possible way. What network feature would allow an employee to gain secure remote access to a company network? ACL, IPS, VPN, BYOD. 15. What are two functions of end devices on a network? Choose 2. They originate the data that flows through the network. They direct data over alternate paths in the event of link failures. They filter the flow of data to enhance security. They are the interface between humans and the communication network. They provide the channel over which the network message travels. Explanation. End devices originate the data that flows through the network. Intermediary devices direct data over alternate paths in the event of link failures and filter the flow of data to enhance security. Network media provide the channel through which network messages travel. 16. In which scenario would the use of a WISP be recommended? An internet cafe in a city. A farm in a rural area without wired broadband access. Any home with multiple wireless devices. An apartment in a building with cable access to the internet. Explanation. Wireless internet service providers, WISPs, are typically found in rural areas where DSL or cable access is not available. A dish or antenna on the property of the subscriber connects wirelessly to a WISP transmitter, eliminating the need for physical cabling outside the building. 17. What is an ISP? It is a standards body that develops cabling and wiring standards for networking. It is a protocol that establishes how computers within a local network communicate. It is an organization that enables individuals and businesses to connect to the internet. It is a networking device that combines the functionality of several different networking devices in one. Explanation. An ISP, or Internet Service Provider, is an organization that provides access to the internet for businesses and individuals. 18. What process involves placing one PDU inside of another PDU? Encapsulation, encoding, segmentation, flow control. 19. What is the IP address of the Switch Virtual Interface, SVI, on Switch 0? 192.168.5.10. 192.168.10.5. 192.168.10.1. 192.168.5.0. Explanation. After the enable command is issued, the show running configuration command or the show IP interfaces brief command will display the IP address of the switch virtual interface, SVI. 20. At which layer of the OSI model would a logical address be added during encapsulation? Physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer. Explanation. Logical addresses, also known as IP addresses, are added at the network layer. Physical addresses are ended at the data link layer. Port addresses are added at the transport layer. No addresses are added at the physical layer. 21. What method can be used by two computers to ensure that packets are not dropped because too much data is being sent too quickly? Encapsulation, flow control, access method, response timeout. Explanation. In order for two computers to be able to communicate effectively, there must be a mechanism that allows both the source and destination to set the timing of the transmission and receipt of data. Flow control allows for this by ensuring that data is not sent too fast for it to be received properly. 22. A network administrator enters the service password encryption command into the configuration mode of a router. What does this command accomplish? This command encrypts passwords as they are transmitted across serial WAN links. This command prevents someone from viewing the running configuration passwords. This command enables a strong encryption algorithm for the enable secret password command. This command automatically encrypts passwords in configuration files that are currently stored in NVRAM. This command provides an exclusive encrypted password for external service personnel who are required to do router maintenance. Explanation. The startup config and running config files display most passwords in plaintext. Use the service password encryption global config command to encrypt all plaintext passwords in these files. 23. After making configuration changes on a Cisco switch, a network administrator issues a copy running config startup config command. What is the result of issuing this command? The new configuration will be stored in flash memory. The new configuration will be loaded if the switch is restarted. The current iOS file will be replaced with the newly configured file. The configuration changes will be removed and the original configuration will be restored. Explanation. With the copy running config startup config command, the content of the current operating configuration replaces the startup configuration file stored in NVRAM. The configuration file saved in NVRAM will be loaded when the device is restarted. 24. In the show running config command, which part of the syntax is represented by running config? The command, a keyword, a variable, a prompt. Explanation. The first part of the syntax, show, is the command, and the second part of the syntax, running config, is the keyword. The keyword specifies what should be displayed as the output of the show command. 25. What is the technician configuring? Telnet access, SVI, password encryption, physical switch port access. Explanation. For a switch to have an IP address, a switch virtual interface must be configured. This allows the switch to be managed remotely over the network. 26. Which command or key combination allows a user to return to the previous level in the command hierarchy? End, exit, Control-Z, Control-C. Explanation. End and Control-Z return the user to the privileged exec mode. Control-C ends a command in process. The exit command returns the user to the previous level. 27. An administrator uses the Control-Shift-6 key combination on a switch after issuing the ping command. What is the purpose of using these keystrokes? To restart the ping process. To interrupt the ping process. To exit to a different configuration mode. To allow the user to complete the command. Explanation. To interrupt an iOS process such as ping or traceroute, a user enters the Control-Shift-6 key combination. Tab completes the remainder of parameters or arguments within a command. To exit from configuration mode to privileged mode, use the Control-Z keystroke. Control-R will redisplay the line just typed, thus making it easier for the user to press enter and reissue the ping command. 28. What function does pressing the tab key have when entering a command in iOS? It aborts the current command and returns to configuration mode. It exits configuration mode and returns to user exec mode. It moves the cursor to the beginning of the next line. It completes the remainder of a partially typed word in a command. Explanation. Pressing the tab key after a command has been partially typed will cause the iOS to complete the rest of the command. 29. Which interface allows remote management of a Layer 2 switch? The aux interface, the console port interface, the switch virtual interface, the first Ethernet port interface. Explanation. In a Layer 2 switch, there is a switch virtual interface, SVI, that provides a means for remotely managing the device. 30. What type of network traffic requires COS? Email, online purchasing, video conferencing, wiki. 31. A networking technician is working on the wireless network at a medical clinic. The technician accidentally sets up the wireless network so that patients can see the medical records data of other patients. Which of the four network characteristics has been violated in this situation? Fault tolerance, scalability, security, quality of service, COS, reliability. Explanation. Network security includes protecting the confidentiality of data that is on the network. In this case, because confidential data has been made available to unauthorized users, the security characteristic of the network has failed. 32. Which statement describes the use of powerline networking technology? New, smart, electrical cabling is used to extend an existing home LAN. A home LAN is installed without the use of physical cabling. A device connects to an existing home LAN using an adapter and an existing electrical outlet. Wireless access points use powerline adapters to distribute data through the home LAN. Explanation. Powerline networking adds the ability to connect a device to the network using an adapter wherever there is an electrical outlet. The network uses existing electrical wiring to send data. It is not a replacement for physical cabling, but it can add functionality in places where wireless access points cannot be used or cannot reach devices. 33. Which of the following is the name for all computers connected to a network that participate directly in network communication? Servers. Intermediary device. Host. Media. Explanation. Hosts are all computers connected to a network that participate directly in network communication. 34. At which OSI layer is a destination IP address added to a PDU during the encapsulation process? Network layer. Application layer. Transport layer. Presentation layer. 35. At which OSI layer is a destination port number added to a PDU during the encapsulation process? Transport layer. Data link layer. Network layer. Application layer. 36. At which OSI layer is a source IP address added to a PDU during the encapsulation process? Network layer. Data link layer. Transport layer. Application layer. 37. What term describes a policy that allows network devices to manage the flow of data to give priority to voice and video? Quality of service. Internet. Intranet. Extranet. 38. What term describes a network where one computer can be both client and server? Peer-to-peer. Cloud. BYOD. Quality of service. 39. What term describes a type of network used by people who work from home or from a small remote office? SOHO network. BYOD. Quality of service. Converged network. 40. What term describes a computing model where server software runs on dedicated computers? Client, server. Internet. Intranet. Extranet. 41. A web client is receiving a response for a web page from a web server. From the perspective of the client, what is the correct order of the protocol stack that is used to decode the received transmission? Ethernet, IP, TCP, HTTP. HTTP, TCP, IP, Ethernet. Ethernet, TCP, IP, HTTP. HTTP, Ethernet, IP, TCP. Explanation. 1. HTTP governs the way that a web server and client interact. 2. TCP manages individual conversations between web servers and clients. 3. IP is responsible for delivery across the best path to the destination. 4. Ethernet takes the packet from IP and formats it for transmission. Thanks. Prep reared by Highly Multimedia. 2015 EC.